Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving straight into the update for the week ending May 19th, 2026. The landscape is shifting at warp speed right now, and if you're trying to keep your organization, or honestly just your own data, secure, you really need to understand exactly what is happening. To really grasp the stakes of our new reality, you've got to hear this warning from security researchers at CALF. They said, "We're about to learn how the best mitigation technology on Earth holds up during the first AI bugmageddon. We aren't just dealing with human adversaries anymore. We're officially dealing with machine speed vulnerability discovery." Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering how AI is speeding up exploits, 0 days, and vendor feuds, unforced cyber errors, the expanding surveillance state, AI reshaping the industry, and finally, your actionable upshots. All right, Section 1, AI speeds up the exploits, the sword and the shield. Just look at the sheer contrast in velocity here. Offensively, Apple spent 5 years building their best-in-class memory integrity enforcement. 5 years! Yet, using Anthropic's Mythos Preview AI model, researchers built a working macOS root exploit to bypass it in just 5 days. The AI generalized the problem and autonomously guided the experts. But defensively, we're seeing the dawn of AI-native vulnerability management. OpenAI's Daybreak and Microsoft's M- systems just unleashed over 100 specialized AI agents to scan and uncover 16 critical Windows networking flaws, including 4 remote code execution vulnerabilities. The arms race has absolutely gone autonomous. But hey, there's a serious flip side to this incredible scanning speed. Linus Torvalds recently pointed out that AI-generated bug reports are making the Linux kernel security list practically unmanageable. People are using the exact same AI tools to find the exact same bugs, submitting them as drive-by reports without actually understanding the kernel's threat model. Torvalds noted this automated noise is burying real expertise, creating just pointless administrative churn for the maintainers. Moving on to Section 2, 0 days and vendor feuds. Trust breaking down. We're currently watching some absolute high-stakes drama rattle cybersecurity teams. Back in 2020, a vulnerability was reported to Microsoft. Fast forward to early May of this year, and Microsoft finally releases their Patch Tuesday update for it. But enter a disgruntled researcher known as Chaotic Eclipse. Furious over Microsoft's handling of the bug reports and claiming intimidation, they decide to retaliate. Mid-May, they drop proof-of-concept exploits called Yellow Key and Green Plasma. And then late May, they unleashed the Mini Plasma 0-day, claiming Microsoft's 2020 patch was either incomplete or reversed. This feud is literally turning private vulnerabilities into public weapons overnight. The fallout from these exploits is severe. Take Mini Plasma. It targets the Windows Cloud filter, handing a standard user full system-level access. That means total, unrestricted control on a fully patched Windows 11 machine. Yellow Key lets a physical attacker with a USB drive bypass BitLocker encryption entirely. And Green Plasma? Another privilege escalation flaw, granting deep system control. The crucial takeaway here is that privilege escalation bugs are incredibly dangerous. They take a minor, routine breach, like a simple phishing click, and instantly turn it into a total machine takeover. Section 3. Unforced errors in cyber. Process versus technology. Just one. Seriously, that is how many public GitHub repositories it took to expose some of the US government's most sensitive infrastructure. A contractor working with CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, accidentally left a repository called Private CISA entirely public. But it gets worse. GitHub's automated secret scanning protections had actually been manually disabled. This unforced error leaked highly sensitive AWS GovCloud keys, internal passwords in plaintext spreadsheets, and DevSecOps deployment files. It just goes to show even the agencies responsible for our national cybersecurity can be totally undone by poor credential management and a lack of contractor oversight. And process failures aren't just about leaking keys. It's about patching speed too. Microsoft had a rough week with a newly actively exploited 0-day in Exchange Outlook web access. The attack path is shockingly simple. An attacker sends a specially crafted email, the user opens the message in their browser, and boom! Malicious JavaScript executes directly in that session, allowing for spoofing and user compromise. Microsoft pushed out an emergency mitigation service, but it's causing calendar printing failures and display errors. It proves that enterprise email systems can shift from routine infrastructure into super valuable entry points if your patching process is even fractionally delayed. Section 4. The surveillance state expands, the global battlefield. $36 million. That's the budget the FBI is asking for to buy nationwide access to commercial automated license plate reader or ALPR data. They want a software as a service system that lets them query vehicle movements across the entire U.S., East Coast, West Coast, Hawaii, Alaska, and the territories. By buying this data from commercial vendors like Flock or Motorola, intelligence agencies can effectively trace exactly where someone drove across time. Needless to say, this raises massive questions about warrantless location tracking. And this surveillance push, it is happening everywhere, at every level. In Troy, New York, the city council sued the mayor for declaring a public safety emergency just to keep Flock license plate cameras running after the council explicitly paused payments over privacy concerns. At the federal level, the CFTC is quietly building AI systems to monitor online prediction markets, like Polymarket, hunting for insider trading at a scale humans never could. Internationally, Iran is threatening to charge fees or even disrupt the subsea internet cables passing near the Strait of Hormuz, realizing digital data choke points are just as valuable as oil choke points. And up in Canada, Bill C-22 is threatening to weaken end-to-end encryption under the classic guise of lawful access. All right, Section 5, AI reshapes the industry, the cultural ripple effect. The sheer scale of the industry shakeups this week is just mind-blowing. Meta announced they're reassigning 7,000 workers specifically to new AI initiatives, while simultaneously laying off 8,000 employees. The pivot to AI is brutal, and it's absolute. Meanwhile, the blockbuster Apple-OpenAI partnership is already fraying. OpenAI expected billions in subscriptions, but Apple's integration turned out to be pretty limited, and OpenAI is actually prepping legal options now. And as a direct counter to all this massive cloud consolidation, a company called Solai just launched the Solo Neo. It's a $399 Linux computer designed to run open-source AI agents entirely locally. It's a huge push to bring data privacy and computing ownership back into your own home. Check out this data from the Burning Glass Institute. It shows a pretty stark reality for careers. Master's degree holders under 35 have hit the 77th percentile for unemployment. For 20 years, an advanced degree was the ultimate fallback. Well, not anymore. It's losing its signaling value because so many people have one. Meanwhile, employers are rapidly shifting to skills-based hiring, specifically around AI readiness. HR executives are noting that with AI tools readily available, employers care way less about the pedigree. They just want to know, can you actually do it? And this anxiety absolutely boiled over in public this week. When former Google CEO Eric Schmidt started praising AI's ability to reshape every industry during his graduation speech at the University of Arizona, he was heavily booed. Young people are deeply anxious about machines replacing jobs and changing society way faster than our institutions can adapt. AI isn't just innovation hype to them anymore. It feels like an immediate threat to the value of the education they just paid for, in an economy that feels like it's automating away their entry-level opportunities. Finally, Section 6, the actionable upshots, what you should take away. Here is your rapid-fire playbook. First, process over tech. That CISA leak is proof that the most expensive cloud infrastructure means absolutely nothing if a human disables the security scanning. Second, with tools like Daybreak flooding the zone, proving that AI-found vulnerabilities are actually validated and remediated is your new standard for governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC. Third, patching speed is critical. Fractional delays on things like Exchange OWA will get you breached. Fourth, treat independent researchers respectfully. As we saw with Microsoft and Chaotic Eclipse, broken trust turns private bugs into public weapons overnight. And finally, prepare for privacy architecture to become a board-level compliance issue, especially with localized legislation like Canada's Bill C-22 trying to dismantle encryption. Which brings us to our final thought for the week. Look at the technology we've discussed today. AI agents writing 0 days, automated license plate readers tracking whole nations. The tech is undeniably brilliant. But the ultimate question I want to leave you with is this. In the era of AI bugmadons and nationwide surveillance, is your underlying security process actually as smart as your technology? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we continue to unpack our rapidly changing digital world.